G'day folks, welcome back to Wanderstop. Hope you guys are doing well. We have just met a couple of very corporate looking guys demanding coffee, both of them. One of them is waiting for a cup of coffee. We keep giving him stuff that I thought perhaps could replicate the flavor of coffee, but unfortunately that didn't really hit the mark. And then there's the other guy who also wants some coffee, and he's sort of been just saying that he's going to wait until we have coffee. And both of them are looking for some kind of boardroom to complete some kind of meeting. Anyway, I think we should ignore them for the time being because I don't think we can really help them with their needs. And instead, just, you know, deal with the aristocrat bird person guy and see if they need some more tea. Say, who are these questionable individuals gathering nearby? The ones in the hideous suits. I find their drab appearance quite offensive to the sensibility of this shop. Yeah. They could really use a boardroom. A boardroom? What in heaven's name for? Can they not see where we are? You see, this is the sort of myopic perspective that a life in business bends you towards. The self-absorption of these corporate types sickens me dreadfully, I must say. No, I cannot stand to be around them any longer. I must bid you farewell and return to my travels. Take care, my dear. I hope to return one day under less dreary circumstances. Ugh, okay, we've lost a customer because of these guys. Bloody hell. Well, perhaps maybe we need to try and figure out how to get them coffee so that they can move on. But I suspect this is a bit of a lesson in, you know, not being able to please absolutely everyone in your life. So, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever be able to make some coffee for them. Or make any type of brew that will satisfy them. What I might do is actually spend a little bit of time cleaning up these cups, because, I suppose because we can, really. We might as well sort of put them in the right spots. Don't really have some very nice looking cups at the moment. We've got some pretty standard looking ones. Hello, miss. Is there something I can be assisting you with? What should I do next? Do next? Well, let's see. Borrow cannot think of anything. No, indeed, nothing at all. Nothing? Aren't you in charge around here? Give me something to do. Miss Alter, while I am appreciating your enthusiasm, I must humbly request your patience. Sometimes there is simply nothing to do. This is, in fact, the way of things. And you have pushed yourself so hard recently, Borrow is thinking you are due for a bit of nothing. What do you say? Is it acceptable to not have any particular task at hand? Fine. Excellent. I am tremendously grateful for your inexhaustible patience. Alright, well, we're going to have to look for our own adventure. I mean, we could make another brew for, was it Jerry? I think it was Jerry who's looking for a brew there. The other guy's Larry. We do have something in the mail. I'm really hoping it's the Dirk Warhard novel that we've been waiting for. To the anonymous sender of packages. Hello, this is Mayor Quimson writing. I am following up on a series of cases that Detective Greyline had been assigned to, and that I am told were only solved once you sent the exact evidence needed to solve them. After your most recent delivery, concrete evidence that Farmer Little did not tar and feather his own house, I have made the decision to relieve Detective Greyline of his duties and to instead place you in charge of all criminal investigation in our fair city. I realize this may come as a surprise, but all of us here are more than confident you will be up to the task. Please know that you have our full support and will be eagerly awaiting your next delivery. Thank you, and continue your tremendous work in the name of justice. Farmer Little asked me to send you some of his award-winning soup as thanks. Award-winning soup. Soup. What kind of soup is this? Oh my god, they're multiplying. Let me just put this down and... Oh, okay. Well, I suppose maybe we could throw soup into the water and it will literally become soup. So I'm keen on trying that, but perhaps maybe let's just stash the soup somewhere for the time being. What do we have in our inventory, actually? I'm just concerned that we've got too much stuff on us. Plenty of seeds. Tool-wise, yeah, okay, we've got all the basics. Okay, good. Let's have a chat with this next corporate type. What rhymes with Jerry and Larry? Who could this be? Terry, maybe. Hello. Wait, are you Larry or Jerry? Which one are you? My name is Terry. I would like your assistance. I am looking for the boardroom. Buddy, aren't we all? Perhaps. Amongst those of us who are looking for the boardroom, yes, we are all looking for the boardroom. However, it seems that this is a drink shop. Therefore, in order to most effectively deliver my presentation, I will request a cup of coffee. There's no coffee here, only tea. Once I have coffee, then I will continue seeking out the boardroom. Okay. And I suppose we can't really interact with any of these guys anymore. Unless they actually ask for coffee, that is. Or sorry, unless we actually serve them coffee or are able to serve them a drink of some kind. I really don't see anything else for us to do, except for perhaps maybe looking for weeds to cut, and perhaps maybe making another attempt at serving this guy some tea. some quasi coffee. Right, what should we give them next in that case? As, who knows, perhaps maybe there is a winner somewhere here. So, those who have wronged you, the messberry is known to infuriate, ghost fruits, fabricated names of popular songs, vapor sprouts, enhances one's awestruck amazement at the vastness of nature. Returns your thoughts to a time of innocence, not cones. Yeah, we've tried that one. Painted goods, we've tried that one as well. Blue loops. Fruit of regrets, eating it makes a person more likely to confess to their mistakes. Tastes like apricots. Prism peppers compels you to use the word triangle in conversation. Ghost fruits. Yeah, okay, we've read that. Just for the lulz, why not we're trying the prism pepper, and I want to see if this guy actually mentions the word triangle in the sentence. Do they even drink the tea when we give it to them? I'm not sure that they do, even. Just looking for the plant. So it must be, yeah, this one here. Yeah, let's grab a fruit from it. Okay, and let's brew another cup. And I suspect by failing this one, we might then see a continuation of stuff. Just checking on the mailbox. Making oh my god, there's something else in the mailbox already. Maybe this is the novel, but maybe let's not you know, hurry too much in trying to read. Let's make another cup. And you know what? I may as well have another cup of tea as well. I'll have one for myself. I'm curious to see how we're going to incorporate the word triangle in our thoughts. Perfect. Alright, let's go. We've got a tea ball ready to go. And prism pepper. Now that looks like a proper, like, tea color. So I'd be happy receiving that. Oop, let's fix this up. Sometimes the music is a little bit weird, isn't it? Yeah, maybe I'll go with the dog channel for now. And, yeah, let's grab ourselves a cup. And you know what's kind of bothering me though is this plant here. I wish this vase over here, this big plant pot, was actually not in that corner because we can barely see the photo. Oh! Got a new guest. Okay then. Was not expecting that. But that's fine. We'll have a chat with them very shortly. But yeah, it's time to serve up some more tea. I'm sure we'll fail, but that's okay. I'm just more curious to see if we actually will get the word triangle out of this guy. You have brought coffee. Not exactly, but... This is not coffee. If you were trying to bring me another drink, I would prefer that it be coffee. Yeah, okay. Well, we didn't get the triangle word out of him, did we? So, I don't know how potent these fruits are. Anyway, he'll probably drop that cup at some point. I'm keen on trying a little bit of this for myself, so we shall do that in a second. And we'll pour the rest of it out as well. Okay. Yeah. One of our feathery friends have returned the photos that we're trying to hide and pretend like nothing ever happened. I should put some plants in here, in this gazebo.
There's a move in grappling called the triangle choke. It's a headlock you pull off with your legs. And it's one of the most effective ways of incapacitating a grounded opponent. Early in my fighting career, just as I was starting to feel confident in my abilities, someone used a triangle choke on me in a fight and completely disabled me. I was helpless. I lost the fight. But the weird thing is that even after my opponent released me, I still felt like I was being choked. All that day, the next day, it was like I had a vice on my throat. I tried everything to make it go away. Everything I could think of. Finally, what I did was before going to bed, I wrote down the exact time the following day when I planned to go to the gym and train. Then, and only after writing this down, then I could breathe. The next night, if I didn't make plans for the subsequent day, the choking came back. So it went every single night, every single day. One after the next, after the next, after the next.
It's interesting, like trauma-induced hard work, almost. A fear of failing, I suppose. But yeah, triangle chokes, I have no idea if that's actually a thing. I'm not really into martial arts that much, but if any of you guys are, you can let me know in the comments if it's an actual thing. Do we have a chat with our new customer, or do we just check on what's going on in the mailbox first? Also, there's a matter of tasting notes for, you know, all the fruits that we haven't really made tea with. So I'm kind of keen on having a snock cone tea. So maybe we can do that, actually. Let's do that first. I probably need a little bit of water. And I don't think we have any tea balls left, so... in the inventory, that is. So let's just quickly grab maybe a couple of tea balls. Alright. Yeah, I'm just curious, I know we've got some stuff to do, but I sort of want to hear Alta's view on some of the flavors of the tea. Okay, so T-ball, snock cone. We've still got quite a few things here, don't we? I wonder if I can just put plain tea, and if that will give us, you know, some kind of an interesting outcome in terms of her thought process. Could be interesting to see and to experiment with. Actually, one thing that I'm not entirely sure of is, can you just keep giving tea to borrow? Is that a thing? Maybe I should give it a try. I mean, I've got a little bit of extra tea there, so I can always just bring it to borrow and see what he says. And to see if he actually drinks it. Let's sit somewhere different this time. Maybe out this way. I don't know if we've sat here before. Nice view of Wanderstop itself.
When I was a kid, I ate jerky for breakfast every morning.
Jerky?
The reason I did this was because of the neighborhood bully. He was this vicious boy who'd antagonize the other kids relentlessly. Sometimes physically. But he'd also talk us down and make us feel worthless. One time, he beat on another kid so badly he went to the hospital. And all of us knew who'd done it, but we were too afraid to speak. The fear he inspired in me was like nothing I'd ever known. The bully was always eating jerky for some reason. And pretty soon, without my even realizing it, I began to eat jerky for breakfast every single day.
I don't know how to read into that. Could she be the bully she was talking about? I don't know. Seems a little unlikely, but I don't know why you would replicate the actions of a bully, or perhaps maybe she thought, you know, that is the way to become stronger or whatever, which, you know, is kind of a little bit warped. But yeah, maybe I'm reading into it a little bit too much. Get rid of that. And yeah, I do want to try giving Borrow a cup of tea. I just want to know if that's actually a mechanic, and every type of tea he might actually say something a little bit different. It's half full, is it? So I don't know if he will appreciate a half cup of tea, but maybe. Why, Miss Alter, have you brought Borrow a cup of tea? Yep, this is for you. Wonderful. Well, well, if it isn't Snock Cone tea, a flavor rich with nostalgia. They say that it is tasting like your breakfast food from childhood, yes? For Borrow, the flavor of this tea is a beloved one. Sand. Sand? How? Yes, nature's breakfast. I did not expect that. Indeed, it is not a common breakfast. Don't worry, I am quite used to the looks of disgust. To be truthful, sand is not an especially nutritious or satisfying meal. Yet as a youngster, I felt I was drawn to it. I felt I must start each day with a mouthful. Why? Again, who can say? Borrow was quite strange as a child. You are still quite strange. But yeah, good thing you grew out of it. Well, perhaps I still sneak in a spoonful of sand every now and then, just for the memories. My goodness. Yeah, alright. So that confirms it though, so I can keep giving tea to Borrow if I want to. And yeah, it's kind of interesting to hear his take on the different flavors and not just our own opinions on it. So have we tried everything now? Not exactly. We still have the blue loops. I might save that for a little bit later, and we'll move on to checking out what's in the mail. Yes. Hello, it's Book by Mail Club. Unfortunately, I have to apologize to you. After I sent out the previous book, several readers wrote to me to remind me that Dirk Warhard as a character is an outdated model of masculinity and law enforcement, a product of his time. I recognize that as cultural norms change, it is important to reflect on what our media implies and accepts. That's why this time I'm sending you an analysis of the Dirk Warhard character and franchise to better contextualize the novels against the social circumstance in which they were written. Until next time. Aw man, that sounds boring as hell. I want more Dirk Warhard. We'll still have a read of this, and we'll see what what sort of stuff it contains. Chasing Bullets: A History and Critical Theory of the Dirk Warhard Novels. The enduring popularity of the Dirk Warhard novels presents an enigma for contemporary literary critics. How does one analyze and understand a body of work which is so superficial in its content, yet which has achieved such enduring audience adoration? While many are content to dismiss their popularity as the result of the simple-minded desire for easily consumable and mindless content, I believe that this perspective misses a crucial element of what makes the Dirk Warhard novels popular. After all, he's not the only vapid action hero in pulp literary fiction. So what makes his legacy so enduring? To understand this question is to understand the book's author, Jeremy Esterkoff, who wrote the books under pen name D.B. Steele, did not always produce such simple-minded literature. The novels he wrote early in his career, while similar in theme to the Dirk Warhard books, walked a much more nuanced line in their portrayal of action heroics. For instance, the Flagbearer Rest at Dawn depicts the struggles of two brothers on either side of a civil war, whose fraught attempts at reconciliation are complicated by the constantly changing messages of state propaganda. A year later, Esterkoff published Final Eyes, a futuristic thriller about a government agent whose desire to serve justice humanely is challenged by the encroachment of efficient yet thoughtless robotics into the world of law enforcement. Esterkoff has repeatedly declined to speak publicly about these early works, or indeed about any of his, I'm not sure how to read that word, over. In time, he came to be known as an enigmatic recluse, someone who emerged from isolation only to deliver a new piece of work. His reticence to explain himself, therefore, invites a great deal of speculation as to why he shifted away from writing more nuanced materials to instead pen Dirk Warhard novels. Of course, it's impossible to ignore the financial failure of his early novels. Yet to focus on sales may miss the bigger picture. Esterkoff was known to have a contentious relationship with his publisher, who at the time was attempting to capture a more artistic and socially conscious audience, and so to put extensive pressure on him to make public appearances for press and the reception of awards. Esterkoff bristled at the insistence, resentful of being asked to participate in the literary social world. We are then left to wonder whether the shift towards mass audience literature was actually a move by Esterkoff specifically intended to rebel against the wishes of his publisher. Yet, regardless of Esterkoff's intentions, what's indisputable is that the moment he shifted his efforts, he found immediate commercial success. His very first Dirk Warhard novel, On a Wing and a Bullet, became a global bestseller and brought the name Dirk Warhard into the public vernacular. Within 3 years, Esterkoff had published a further 6 novels in the franchise, including bestsellers Bullets O'Clock. I love that title. Edge of a Bullet and Knives at a Bullet Fight. Who is Dirk Warhard exactly? Going by the novels, he can be difficult to pin down. He is consistently portrayed as stoic and unflinching, yet with each novel he shifts socio-politically in order to meet the needs of the story. The best example of this is the perpetual question of whether Dirk Warhard works for the government or not. The answer seems to change in each book. His role in the execution of justice fluctuates between being a public good and being a rogue renegade, sometimes even within the same story. Dirk Warhard is also the embodiment of stereotypical heteronormative masculinity. As the novels exploded in popularity, so too did they begin to attract criticism for their portrayal of Warhard's relationship with masculinity. As writer Laura Erhauer praised it, Dirk Warhard romanticizes male infantilization, Jesus, that's a difficult word, to an audience for whom contemporary expectations of masculinity have become far too nuanced. This and other criticisms resulted in a bitter retaliation from Esterkoff, who chose to respond to his critics not via public statement, maintaining as ever his trademark aloofness, but through the novels themselves. His subsequent novel, Straight as a Bullet, was a naked attempt to repudiate his critics by having Dirk Warhard double down on every one of his most egregiously masculine tendencies. In the novel Esterkoff's Longest Ever, Warhard makes love to over 120 women and kills dozens of vegetarians. The exact phrase, "I'm a man and nothing will change that," appears 26 times. It's at this point that the novels begin to drive toward a very specific thesis. Dirk Warhard is incapable of fundamental change because he is who he is as a result of inherent traits rather than a product of social or political impact. For instance, in the Bullet Complex, the villainous Dr. Shumptuck genetically modifies Dirk Warhard to make him more compliant and passive as a person, yet Warhard's genes literally resist the transformation, rearranging themselves back into their natural configuration just moments after the procedure is complete. This is a recurring theme in subsequent books such as Face Full of Bullets and Bullets Forever, wherein the villains become focused less on personal gain and more on simply trying to change Warhard. It's in this trend that we see the core appeal of Dirk Warhard begin to emerge, a repudiation of the value of socio-political change. Change is the only consistent villain of the Warhard novels, the only concept towards which he remains consistently hostile. Even Warhard's notion of justice is malleable. At times he considers crime necessary to achieve justice, while at other times the elimination of all crime is the only path to justice. Yet in no circumstances is change acceptable for himself or for anyone else. Of course, we are again left to speculate as to the exact nature of Esterkoff's personal belief in the content he was creating. Are we to see Dirk Warhard through the eyes of the author who once penned serious and moody works of nuanced interpersonal intrigue? In this sense, the Dirk Warhard novels could be seen as a satirical lampooning of mass media interests. Or are we to assume that Esterkoff truly did come around to believing in the fundamental righteousness of never changing? This thematic thread may have continued through the novels if not for a personal setback. Esterkoff's brother passed away after the publication of The Bullet Hunts at Night, at which point Esterkoff's prolific pace slowed dramatically. The loss devastated him. After several years of silence, he emerged from isolation with a new book, Whispers of a Broken Bullet, in which, for the first time ever, Dirk Warhard becomes a deeply emotive character. Warhard monologues on the nature of pain for over a dozen pages and openly cries twice. There is no villain or central conflict. Warhard simply travels from place to place, remarking grimly on the various people and locations he passes. In some ways, the novel feels like a return to Esterkoff's earlier works. Yet if the response to his early works was muted, the response to Whispers of a Broken Bullet was hostile. Fans of the series uproariously decried the changes and demanded a return to form, whether as a capitulation to public response or perhaps a desire to distract himself with work of a less nuanced sort. Esterkoff abandoned the new angle on Dirk Warhard. His next book, Bullets Don't Cry, saw a decisive return to the Dirk Warhard of old. In this book, Dirk Warhard murders over 400 people, including the Prime Minister of every nation on the planet, becoming the Prime Minister himself in several countries. His tendency towards cannibalism, already alluded to in previous books, ratchets up with the invention of his new justice cannibalism technique. The book shows Dirk Warhard's complete regression into the most thoughtlessly violent and virile version of himself, and was adored by fans upon release. Bullets Don't Cry ended up being the best-selling book in the entire franchise as of the writing of this piece. Yet, the series' resurgence was short-lived. A few years and a few novels later, a bombshell investigative report revealed that for an unknown amount of time, ghostwriters had been doing much of the work on the Dirk Warhard books. Esterkoff was at this point in his declining years, and his publisher had progressively been enlisting uncredited staff writers to take over a significant amount of the writing. It was never revealed what sections of the latter books were not written by Esterkoff, or indeed if he wrote a single word of them at all, but those hoping to hear an answer directly from Esterkoff were crestfallen when he passed away a few months later. In the wake of his passing, the publisher openly turned to ghostwriters to continue the series, albeit strictly in sequel form. Sequels such as The Fastest Bullet Alive 2, Even Faster Bullets, failed to elicit a critical or commercial response of any significance. To this day, the publisher continues to produce these sequels, still bearing Esterkoff's name, to a decidedly middling reception. The failure of these sequels and the question of the novel's authorship invites a question. What was it that gave Esterkoff's heroic protagonist such broad appeal in the first place? Whether he wrote from a place of satirical mockery, or from a genuine belief in the need for regressive masculinity, Esterkoff's intentions were never truly dissected. His most enduring legacy, therefore, is not just the character of Warhard, but a collective disagreement over the authorial underpinnings of the Dirk Warhard franchise. It is a question as enduring and unchanging as Warhard himself, and one which will be irrevocably affixed to the institution of literary criticism. There you go, guys. That was a bit of a read, wasn't it? I would definitely say that was a little bit drier than actually reading some of the novels itself. I would have much preferred being able to read one of his novels, to be honest, because I find them to be quite hilarious. Although, very valid criticisms here for, Dirk Warhard as a character and as a product of his time, I suppose. I don't think all masculinity is bad, but, too much of it, and I guess this is pretty cliche, but too much of anything can be a bad thing, right? Let's have a chat with our new customer, and let's see who they are and what they're all about. Whoa! What the hell? Goodness! Hello! Hello! I guess maybe there's like 2 entities or something in here? Delightful! Delightful! Such a delight! Beautiful! We are Zenith. Hello. We have traveled along the infinite path to be here. To be here. We have seen your world. We have loved your world. It is delightful. Delightful. What is the infinite path? The infinite path? What a glorious path. Glorious. The line which connects all consciousness, strings them upon the unending thread. Unending. We walked it, we danced it, we found it delightful. Delightful. We see on your face this is not a helpful answer. Confused? It's just, I've never seen anything like you before. And we, in turn, have never seen anything like you. It is a joy to discover. Joyful. We are discovering so very much about your plane of existence. Discovering. Look, have you seen them? They are our favorite discovery yet. Favorite? Are they talking about the corpo guys? Maybe. These men, they are wearing suits. They are conducting business. Suits. This is our favorite discovery by far. Yes. The businessmen? That's the best thing you've seen? Yes, yes. You haven't seen very much, have you? To the contrary, we have seen the vastness of time itself. We have touched upon consciousness in all realms. We have spoken to the colors of a dying star. We have lived inside the eyes of an entire species for its entire lifespan. We have spent a millennium living within a single moment of radiant joy. And we must say, this, the men of business, it is one of our favorites. Truly. What exactly do you like about them so much? Are they not inherently delightful? We do not know how to describe it. Delightful. They are many, yet they seem to be of one mind. We are similar to them. in this sense. Very similar. We have been following them from place to place as they move. They search. They search for the boardroom. They seek this. They are called to it. They have been searching for a long time, a very long time. We are delighted by this quest. We hope very much that they succeed. Delighted. Well, would you like tea? 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 We have not yet encountered tea in this reality. What is it? Describe it. It's just hot water with some ingredients in it. Oh, yes, we have heard of this. It is called coffee. Coffee. The men of business have spoken of it fondly many times. A great love. No. Coffee is a different thing. We don't have coffee, only tea. Intriguing. We must know more. Please bring us tea. Please. Okay. What kind of flavor do you want? I can put any ingredient here into the tea. Any ingredient at all? How fascinating. What flavor do we wish for? Desire. We wish for the flavor of something that is of value. Valuable. Of value. Yes, we wish to know what is of value in this world for you. You mean like a valuable fruit? It does not have to be a fruit. It can be anything at all. Anything. Huh. Okay, I'll put something valuable into the tea. Very good. We await it eagerly. Alright, some weird stuff happening. Theses on Dirk Warhard novels, which, partially agree with, partially disagree with, but, unfortunately it was not an actual Dirk Warhard novel, which would have been much, much better and a more interesting read, if you ask me. And we've got this strange entity thing, which is fascinated by all of the business people around, and they haven't had tea yet, so we're definitely going to be making some tea, but that's probably something that we'll do in the next episode, guys. I am calling it here. Hope you enjoyed this one. Chuck me a like if you did. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay true, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.